out of all the vintage items featured in your book, can you say especially like 3 items particularly special for you?
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's quite a hard question picking the 3 special ones, because I have, you know, probably between 3,500 and 5,000 pieces. So every time I find something really unique, you know, and I vintage shop a lot. So when I find something unique, I say that's my favorite piece. So it's hard to say really what my most favorite piece is. But in this book, we've only featured about 350 pieces. And obviously I have somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000. And I was at fashion college in the 60s. So I got interested in vintage in the 60s. And I actually started collecting vintage in 1978. And so I've been collecting vintage from 78 to 2004, quite a lot of years. And I've traveled the world, but always on work. I didn't travel specially to collect vintage. I traveled around the world for work. Like obviously while I'm in Korea, I'll be looking at some vintage stores, hopefully. So wherever I go, I do vintage shopping.
Okay. So which was the hardest to find out of the vintage collectors?
Let me think about that. What was the hardest one? Yeah, it's a good question. I think that maybe this one was very difficult to find. This one here. This is really special. It's a jacket from Second World War, 1939. It is a fantastic garment. To be honest, I love this garment. Can you believe it's likely that it's made in Ventile. We call it an Air Ministry experimental jacket, which is the actual label inside the jacket. So this jacket would have been a trial RAF jacket. So in effect, the Royal Air Force around 1937 to 39, before the war, when the war started, the World War started in 39, but in 37 they would be experimenting the clothing. And this is actually an experimental jacket that was never properly produced. Maybe there was only 10 or 12 made. So this one, believe it or not, it's probably one of the rarest ones I've got, because it's you know, it's really special. You can see it's falling apart. Yeah. So it's called the Air Ministry experimental jacket. I think it's made out of Ventile. It's a beautiful garment. And I have actually reduced that into a Caborun piece. We have actually made this in Ventile. The thing is, that experimental parka, we made some. We made it in about 2016. Anyway, it's a great jacket, and we made very few of it. Okay.
So what message do you expect readers to take from this book? Any special message you want to deliver?
Well, that's a good question. For me, as being a designer and being a designer since 1967, I would say my message would be, you know, to always try and experiment, always dig deep, you know, look for things that you really like, things that really interest you, things that work, things that are functional. I think it's just good to really dig deep. Look, I love digging deep for vintage, finding rare things. And I tend to be a bit like that with life, with everything else.
What keeps your passion for vintage and military fashion alive for so long?
Yeah, well, it's good. It's easy for me because I travel a lot. So obviously when I travel, the priority is to find the best vintage store in that city, you know? So obviously, if I get a little bit of time in the next 2 days, I'll be looking for a good vintage store in Seoul. And and this is how I am everywhere I go. I mean, obviously when I go to Tokyo, it's like suicide because there's so much stuff, you know, and it's really hard for me because I have to control myself in the spending because it's very easy to spend 10,000 US on vintage without even trying, you know. I don't know if you guys are aware that last Sunday we had Inspiration and there was vintage pieces there, $30,000, you know, ridiculous prices. I've never seen prices like it. But, you know, it was great to see some really, really rare vintage pieces. It's a good show to visit, the Inspiration show in Tokyo. If you got anybody here loving vintage, it's definitely the show to go to.
So what would be the last categories or pieces to complement your personal style at last?
Sorry,
To finalize your style, is there any specific item or categories that you want to like express?
in the way that I dress?
Exactly.
Yeah, right, okay. Well, for me, it's about having stable items, you know. Obviously, I think that the beanie is very key accessory. I think everybody knows me for the beanie. I think also for the cargo pant, the military cargo pant, I think that's typical Nigel Caborun. I think that, you know, obviously my outerwear is key, so, you know, the Everest Parker or, you know, the cold weather Parker, all the beautiful pieces of outerwear, which I love and design and wear, is key. I think you always need a good hat, you need a good pair of shoes. You always need a great pair of shoes. If you don't have good shoes, the outfit looks terrible. So you've got to have good shoes, you've got to have a good hat, you need a good jacket, and you need your cargo pants. Perfect outfit.
Okay. Is there any cultural interest you like outside of fashion?
Cultural interest?
Like any different category that you especially like?
Oh
out
yeah,
of fashion?
I mean I love soccer.
Oh, okay.
You
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
so football is very important to me, always has been. I used to be a goalkeeper and wanted to be a professional goalkeeper. So obviously I love travel, you know. I live to travel really. So, and I love meeting people. So to me it's a huge pleasure to meet all you guys today. And I think that people to me are everything. So it's great to meet other cultures, being an English guy, meeting all you people from Seoul. This is the best way to meet people and broaden your brain, okay?
So the last is this. What advice would you give young designers when they plan to start their own brand?
Well, first of all, you need a good education, really. You know, you need to go to fashion college. I went to fashion college, so, you know, I really was interested in designing when I was about 14 or 15. I went to do a 4-year degree in fashion. So doing a course in fashion, I think is quite important if you want to be a fashion designer. The most important thing to me, though, is two things. Is the fabric and the vintage garments. So I think that to be original, and if you want to be original, I would advise you do vintage shop because you find unique ideas. And you need to work fucking hard, you know? You need to work hard all the time. It doesn't come easy. You know, I've worked solid for over 50 years and I love what I'm doing. You need to find a passion. The most important thing is find a passion. If you can find a passion, then you've got a chance of making success of it. For me, it would be impossible to make a success without it being something that I really love doing and have a real passion to do. And that's how I made a success out of my brand. I'm doing exactly what I want to do. So if you're good at kicking a ball against the wall, then be a fucking footballer, you know? But this is my advice. You do what you love, you know? And, you know, I want to be an accountant or a solicitor or whatever, you know. I just love the clothes and I love the business and I love traveling. And you learn so much from travel. Travel's so important, you know. It's so important. Okay?
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
So it's a kind of lottery that we kind of gave like one piece for each of them.
Okay.
You pick one
Yes.
and you sign here, and then it would be a very special gift for them.
Yeah, okay. So I just need to pick one out. Yeah.
You just call the number.
Well, that's good because it's a really good number.
Really?
Yeah. It's 19, 019, and yeah, 19. Oh. Yeah. Really good to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to meet you.
KYU.
KYU
W
W.
O N.
Right.
Yeah.
You on? Okay. Right.
나이젤 카본에 대한 브랜드를 그렇게 오래 알진 않았었는데 근래 들어서 많이 관심이 생겼는데 이렇게 직접 만날 수 있어서 너무 영광이었고요. 굉장히 좋은 시간이었습니다.
오늘 제 생일인데요. 너무 좋은 경험했고 너무 뵙고 싶었는데 실제로 너무 뵈서 너무 좋았고 이런 기회가 또 있었으면 좋겠습니다. 네.
나이젤 카본님을 굉장히 좋아했었는데 이번 기회 통해서 이렇게 만나 뵙게 돼서 직접 사인도 받고 사진도 찍게 돼서 정말 좋은 시간이었습니다. 감사합니다.
안녕하세요. 모드맨에서 나이젤 카본 실제로 만나서 되게 좋았었고 옛날부터 빅팬이어가지고 실제로 얼굴 보고 인사드리고 이제 사인도 받을 수 있어서 되게 좋았습니다. 그리고 브랜드를 만들었던 이야기나 스토리 같은 것도 잘 들을 수 있어서 너무 좋은 기회였던 것 같고 다음에 꼭 이런 행사 또 했으면 좋겠습니다. 감사합니다.
평소에 나이젤 카본 의류 정말 좋아하는데 이렇게 모드맨에서 특별한 기회 제공해 주셔가지고 와서 직접 사인도 받고 할 수 있어서 너무 지금 신나는 상태이고 모드맨 사랑합니다. 나이젤 카본 사랑합니다.
네, 제가 밀리터리 옷 같은 걸 좋아해서 나이젤 카본 팬 된 지는 한 6, 7년 정도 된 것 같은데 계속 이제 일본 가서도 많이 사고 모드맨이나 다른 데서 많이 사서 되게 뵙고 싶었는데 오늘 되게 뜻깊은 자리 마련돼서 되게 만날 수 있어서 너무 좋은 시간이었고 되게 즐거운 시간 보낸 것 같습니다. 네.
나이젤 카본은 평상시에도 좋아했었고 디렉터분 직접 뵙고 싶어서 여기까지 왔고요. 즐겁고 뜻깊은 행사였습니다. 감사합니다.
이 밀리터리 빈티지 업계에서 최고의 아이콘 나이젤 카본님을 만나게 돼서 정말 좋은 시간이었고요. 근데 항상 사진 속으로만 뵀었는데 그 사진 속에서 유쾌한 모습 그대로의 그런 모습이어서 정말 좋았습니다. 그리고 또 다양한 일본 브랜드들 심지어 휴먼 메이드까지도 좋아하신다는 그런 얘기들을 듣고 역시 대부는 다르다, 열려 있다 그런 걸 배우게 돼가지고 역시 다양한 거에 대한 경험 그리고 또 여행도 많이 해보고 여러 가지 경험을 많이 해봐야겠다는 그런 교훈을 얻은 것 같습니다.